Here's a quick overview of the weapon categories for Cyberpunk 2020. It's a long list, but here we go. Be right back. All right, Chumbas, hello again. Thanks for coming back and watching my videos. I do appreciate it. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. It really helps me out. Trying to get as many of these videos out as I can, talking about anything to do with Cyberpunk 2020. We're going to be getting into Red soon. I got a couple of videos on that. Definitely going to be talking about 2077 as we get closer to April next year on that one. But to the subject for this particular video, we are talking about Cyberpunk 2020, the weapon categories. There's several of them. Just going to go through them pretty quick. Give a couple examples, maybe of each, idea of what damage or what calibers they would be included in the given category, that kind of thing. The first one I want to mention is melee. Melee is going to be your swords, knives, brass knuckles, whips, these kinds of things are all going to be considered melee weapons. Even their stats in the book for an entrenching tool is included as considered a melee weapon. Clubs would be a melee weapon. You pick up a pipe, that's a melee weapon, etc. Okay. Bows are your next category. You've got recurve, compound bows, etc. You also crossbows are another category. Regular crossbow bows or hand crossbow crossbow. Um, Next one is exotic. We get into some of the odd stuff here. Point defense systems, needle guns, Kentucky Dragon, which is basically a flamethrower, handheld flamethrower. Pretty crazy weapon. Laser cannons, boomerangs, microwavers are all considered exotic weapons. Just a few examples there. Next, we're going to get into handguns, SMGs, and so on. I'm going to cover those real quick. Now, these are both considered caseless, and with a couple exceptions, as listed in a given weapon in the book, but caseless ammo. Now, I'll mention if you want me to do a video on what is caseless ammo, leave me a comment, let me know. I'll do a video specifically on what that means. But for handguns, we've got four categories of handguns. There's light, medium, heavy, and very heavy. And basically, the difference is physically, how hard is it to carry, how heavy is it, how much recoil does it have, how much damage does it do. These are all things that decide what category a given weapon is in. Some examples: a light handgun is going to do 2 die 6 or less. There's 1 die 6, 2 die 6 weapons in there. Uh, Probably looking at a 5 or 6 millimeter, maybe 22 caliber, something in that range, considered a light handgun. Medium handgun, now we're talking about plus side of 2 die 6, 2 die 6 plus 2 plus 3, um, whatever it is, something like that. 9 millimeter, I think there's some 357 mags. There's a 10 millimeter or two in there, all considered that are considered medium handguns. Heavy handguns, you get into 3 die 6 weapons. 357 magnums, 11 millimeters. There's a 44 mag or two listed as a heavy handgun in there. Very heavy. That's the biggest category of handguns. Now we're talking about 4 die 6 plus. And I say plus because there's one 6 die 6 handgun that's listed as a very heavy. That's that Valorian Arms. Johnny Silverhand had those made originally designed just for him. But 454 mags, there's Kusols, sorry, 454 Kusols, 12 millimeters, 14 millimeters, 44 mags. These are things that are listed as very heavy handguns. And again, there's some specific rules as we get into some of the big weapons. There's some recoil rules. Who can what size character? How big do you have to be able to fire these things? It is based on your body type number, um, and it is based on some math depending on the size of the weapon, how much damage it does versus your body, what that comes out to, whether or not you can fire that weapon at a normal rate, whether you're going to be able to fire more slowly or faster. Well, does it do any damage to you when you fire? Is that thing so big and heavy, you fire it, you're going to hurt your arm, hurt your wrist, or whatever, that kind of stuff. That's a whole nother video I'm going to do on the recoil for heavy weapons. I'll do that. We'll figure out that math. We'll go through an example or two, different video. That is on the list. If you're looking for that one to be done sooner, throw a comment down there and let me know. I'll get it out a little bit quicker here. I'll try and move it up on the list. Next category, we're done with handguns there. Will be SMGs. This is submachine guns. Submachine guns are usually one-handed, some two-handed weapons, fully automatic. They're the type you pull that trigger, they fire very, very quickly. You might get 30, 40, 50 rounds out in one round in a few seconds, and they're done. So lots of rounds. Some of those weapons are considered called what's called spray and pray. You're throwing a whole bunch of rounds over that way, and you're hoping something hits. Some of them are better than others, but get the idea. Though there's three categories. We're talking about SMGs: light, medium, and heavy. Light SMGs are in the 1 or 2 die 6 range, 2 die 6 plus 2 at the most. 22 caliber, 5.6 millimeter, 7 millimeter. I think there's a 9 millimeter that's listed as a light SMG. Medium SMGs, now you're into 2 die 6 plus 3 and up. 9, 10 millimeter, 45 ACP, 45 auto. Those things are considered medium SMGs generally. Heavy SMGs, the top category here, these are 3 die 6 plus, 4 die 6 plus weapons. 11, 12 millimeter up in that range are considered the heavy SMGs. Now, we have one category after SMG, one category I want to mention. These are cased ammunition rounds for a shotgun. So these are the shotgun rounds that you're used to seeing. They've been around forever, just like we have them now is the way they are in the game for Cyberpunk 2020 now. There is a lot of variation on how much damage they can do and what they do exactly. There are taser shotgun rounds, chemical ones. There are anywhere from 1 die 6 up 6 die 6 damage. Just depends on what kind of round it is, what kind of weapon you're putting it through, exactly what the damage is on those. 12 gauge and 20 gauge, I think is primarily listed in the book, but shotguns is that category, and any shotgun would be listed, would be considered under that category. Then we go back to caseless ammo again. And again, if you want a video on what caseless ammo is, drop me a comment and let me know. Next category is assault rifles. Now, assault rifles in this case, quite a bit of variance to what caliber and damage they can do. 4 die 6, 5, 6 die 6, 6.5 millimeter, 5.62, 7.62, excuse me, 5.56 or 7.62. Lots of variance in the damage in what's considered an assault rifle. Next one, you get into sniper rifles. Now, sniper rifles tend to be physically much bigger, much longer barrels, much more accurate, but harder to move around, slower rates of fire. Whereas, by the way, assault rifles tend to be able to fire maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or several rounds down range at one time. Sniper rifles tend to be much slower rates of fire, bigger and heavier, much more accurate, higher damage. Get that trade-off going on. 6 die 6, 7, 9 die 6. There's a few die 10 sniper rifles, 6 die 10, 7 die 10. We're talking about much higher calibers, much more accuracy. Again, heavier, bigger to move around. And there's some other rifles is the next category. I know these vary quite a bit. The damage, what it means to be in the category of other, it's not an assault rifle. It's not considered a regular sniper rifle. It goes in the other rifles category. There's a number of nomad rifles in that category. There's a ramjet rifle, a rocket rifle. Cyborg rifles, all right, are in the other rifles category. Next one is machine guns. Now, machine guns tend to be much physically bigger, much heavier compared to like an SMG, a submachine gun. A full machine gun is something that is hard to move around. You're going to want this mounted to a vehicle or mounted to an aircraft or something if you can possibly. This is something occasionally in movies you'll see somebody like Stallone or Schwarzenegger will grab that big weapon up off the helicopter and carry it around. Um, there are some, now having said that, there are some squad assist weapons, um, uh, saws. There are some other weapons that you can, if you're big enough body, you could carry it and use it. In general, a machine gun is a big, heavy weapon, though. You're not going to want to carry it around probably for long. You're going to have some penalties there if you try to, in general. Heavy weapons, mortars, grenades, missiles. Okay, pretty much all die 10 plus weapons are considered heavy weapons. As the skill, by the way, heavy weapons. You get into Borg weapons next. These are weapons designed for someone that is full cyberlimb replacement, full Borg conversions, or maybe wearing a full set of ACPA armor. That's when you get into these weapons. Now, think maybe not necessarily this scale, but think of the weapons a mecha would use. A big fighting robot would use. Um, Not necessarily that big. We're talking about ACPA, for example. It's a person in an exoskeleton armor, powered armor. So definitely bigger, definitely more powerful. Um, but those are considered the Borg weapons. Okay. If you want more detail, yeah, I can't. This video is going to be long enough as it is. If any of these you want me to go into more information on, give more examples of specific examples, drop me a comment. Let me know. I'll do it. Um, the last category I'm going to get into here is hand grenades. Um, well, I say that. No, pardon me. Hand grenades, launch grenades, high explosive chemical incendiary flashbangs, spray paint grenades, all kinds of things like that available in the game. That's a hand grenades, and then there's a launch grenades category. The next category is mines and explosives. Land mines, explosives like well, we have C4. There's a C6, I believe, in Cyberpunk 2020. There's all kinds of other explosives, info, all the stuff we've got now, plus a whole lot more. Is available in 2020. The last thing is you got some special kinds of ammunition, some other things. But again, if there's anything in detail you want me to go over, drop in the comments and let me know. I know this is a little bit of a boring video, but we gotta lay the groundwork before we can talk about a given weapon or a given style. We gotta talk about what's all the categories. What does this stuff mean? Get some basic definitions going, right? Okay, so that's it for those categories. Again, if there's a particular thing you want me to go into detail, drop me a comment. I'm going to do a video on the recoil rules for the heavy weapons, heavier big stuff, for Borgs, for ACPA, and so on. Those what body you have to be, and if you're not a big enough body type to fire that weapon, what's the result of that? What does that mean for you, for your character? I'm going to do those soon. But that covers it for this video. If there is, again, if there's more things you want, let me know. Do the things that YouTube likes you to do for me. I appreciate it. You hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, so you make sure you're notified of new videos when they do come out. Trying to do as many of these as I can. I'm not getting out quite as many as I'd like, but family and work and other things going on. So if you click some of those links down in the description, um, some of those are affiliate. Might make a few dollars my way, but won't affect your price at all. Helps me spend more time making these videos, uh, more time um, doing research, getting you the information you need, you want to help you play the game better, to get more involved. Anyway, whatever I can do, let me know. I appreciate it. Have a great day, afternoon, evening, depending where you are. I appreciate you watching the video. I will see you in the next one.